Glad to know you're watching your program. Those of you watching us in faraway Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ilori, Sokoto, wherever you're watching the program, those of you outside the shores of Nigeria, I want to say it's an honor presenting this program to you on behalf of the production crew and say thank you so very much for allowing us into your homes, offices, wherever you're watching the program. I did say last week that we're going to give you a voice pop on the state of our roads. I mean, if you like, state of infrastructure and how that affected our economy. Well, we are still going to work on that because we want to make it have a national outlook because we're looking at from various states, state of our road, state of our infrastructure, and how it has actually affected the small and medium scale enterprises in Nigeria. Well, that report definitely must make its way by next week, God's willing. Well, for the program rundown this week, today we are looking at Spotlights. We have the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Best Land and Seas Limited. And for Straight Talk, today we have the CEO of Sitech Engineering. Not left out for company in focus is the CEO of 2S Engineering. It's going to be an interesting watch. Wherever you are, brace yourself up, relax yourself. You're going to learn one or two things. I'll be back after this time out.
Sitech Engineering Limited was established in the year June 1989. The primary objectives of the establishment of Sitech Engineering Limited is to be able to play a vital role in the civil engineering industry. Specifically, the objectives of Sitech Engineering Limited is to carry out foundation investigations for most of our industries, structures, and any civil engineering projects. And the basis of setting up this industry or this engineering outfit is to ensure that we compete favorably with the foreign engineers, because the aspect of geotechnics is being undertaken by foreign engineers all along in the civil engineering industry. We now felt there's a vacuum in this area, and that is why Sitech Engineering Limited was set up specifically in June 1989 to be able to compete favorably with the foreign expertise. I graduated since 1981, and since 1981 I find myself to have worked with Sterling Construction Company Limited. I worked with an indigenous construction company. After working for the private industry for about 5 years, I moved into the classroom as an academician, as a lecturer. I lectured for a period of 20 years. In the process of lecturing, I now developed myself to be able to establish what I'm actually managing today. If you have to go along with the transformation agenda of our president, you find that the engineers are actually contributing a lot in the development of the civil engineering industry. But we have some limitation. The limitation is the area that we have a lot of people, foreigners who come to the country on the auspices of being an expert, and most of them come here to actually practice, whereas it is our indigenous engineers that give them all the necessary ingredients to be able to function effectively in Nigeria. So, to actually enhance this transformation industry of His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, I think we need to refocus. We need to refocus into the development of our indigenous engineers in such a way that they can actually compete favorably with our foreign experts. Based on the fact that we have practiced over some years, since 1989, the future in the area of geotechnical investigation and foundation engineering is very, very bright to some of our engineers. I must confess to you that we have trained several engineers who are actually in the practice today, and they are doing perfectly well. And I believe the future in the area of foundation engineering and geotechnics is very, very bright, as it relates to the civil engineering industry and, again, in the mineral exploration sector.
BLS Drilling Fluids, a division of Best Land and Sea Services Limited, is an engineering and drilling services firm operating fully in Nigeria and also HSE compliant. The company is specialized in using two categories of drilling mud to aid oil and gas exploration in Nigeria, thereby providing its services essential to oil and gas companies locally.
We are basically providing services in the area of drilling fluid mud and engineering. And as a service provider, we also do everything to do with drilling and workover and completion. Those are the areas we specialize in. The fluid business is basically for every drilling operation, you need a fluid engineer. You need the chemicals, you need the drilling oil. So our job basically is to blend the chemicals and the fluid, to create a drilling fluid. We have two types of drilling fluid. You have the water-based and then the oil-based. The water-based mud is especially for the top hole, and if you go deeper, for lubricity, you need oil-based mud. That's the two sections, and all of them have their component chemicals, and those are the things we do.
Over the years, BLS has been having an in-depth part with its partners, major oil and gas operators such as Shell, in oil exploration processes, and the engineering team of BLS are quite familiar with places like Niger Delta areas and anywhere in Nigeria that oil and gas is being explored.
The Niger Delta terrain is well known to us. The personnel, we have a logistic department that handles most of the movement of personnel here and there, and most of us are from, with the exception of most of the engineers are very conversant, and wherever the operator, let's say Shell for instance, or Ajib has a field, we are mandated to go there. So we are conversant. We have engagement of array of transporters and all these things. So we are people who can move from place to place. As the rig moves, we move along with them. And with the exception of flooding last year, we pretty cope for those kind of things, because it's apart from deep offshore, which also operates from One. Free zone. All the other operations are land and then swamp. We are conversant with it, and we move along with the rig as it moves.
As it does so, BLS maintains a high standard when it comes to health, safety and environment. BLS Safety Department is managed by a well-informed coordinator, and the engineers working with the company have a worldwide knowledge of drilling for oil and gas companies without endangering the environment or causing harm to indigenous health.
For every service company, you must have a functional safety department. You have, because we are concerned about the environment, it's mandatory. It's what the regulation says, and we must have it. We have a coordinator for health, safety and environment. And apart from that, the engineers go for a lot of courses. The department reports directly to my office, so that's the importance we attach to both health, safety and environmental issues in this company. And you cannot be in the oil and gas industry without, because the operators insist on that. It's not a Nigerian oil and gas, it is a worldwide oil and gas. So the practice is worldwide, and safety, health, and all the environmental issues are of big concern to us.
2S Engineering Limited is an engineering firm that has been in existence since 1979, with involvement in the consultancy of engineering services. The firm takes active part in the electrification of building projects, such as civil and structural works, fabrication works, external electrical distribution works, telecommunication in engineering systems, and preparation of bills, as well as carries out feasibility studies in the engineering works.
2S Engineering Limited is an engineering firm registered in 1979, November. It's a firm that is actually involved in consultancy of engineering services in projects, and it has been operating as such. We take active part in the electrification of building projects, public works, civil structural engineering projects, mechanical and building services engineering projects. We do some external electrical distribution works, and then telecommunication in engineering system, servicing, maintenance, preparation of bills and installation of quantities for engineering. And we carry out some feasibility studies and some engineering works also. Like any engineering firm, what you carry out is services to the industries. And like we said, in building services generally, ensuring that the construction works in building services are properly carried out. You carry out your designs, and then you ensure that they are properly supervised to ensure that the output generally at the end of the day is properly enhanced for the client to have a perfect job done with your supervision to ensure that the work is properly carried out. And that is the basic thing of a consultant in any of the projects.
Despite the lack of funding, which many businesses regard as being the highest challenges to business success, especially in Nigeria, 2S Engineering brand works to ensure that the integrity of the firm is protected by ways of delivering quality and on-time services to its clients.
Major challenges you find out really are in forms of cash flow. If you have enhancement of cash flow in any of the projects, like quite a lot of the projects that we have carried out in our own, you find out that the services rendered are not paid for. Some of the clients don't pay, and so you cannot even carry out more things for people. And so we continue to arrange to make sure that as much as possible, whichever project you are lucky to have, payments are done. And you don't get involved in arbitration because you don't want to spoil your name with clients. So your problem is to ensure that at least whatever you get, if you are lucky enough, because as much as possible, some of them get commissioned on the project. When you have a commission letter, then you might be able to get some few things out of it. But the ones that you do maybe on friendly basis, where you are called in to carry out some consultancy jobs, it looks so easy for them that the consultant just comes and makes some drawings and they carry it out, and they will not be able to give you remunerations for what you have done. So that is the challenges that one goes through in most of the cases. Apart from that, the engineering aspect is not a problem. We carry out all the engineering designs, do the supervision when you go to the site, and ensure that the project is properly executed. But your problem is, do you get paid for what services you have rendered?
In their quest to delivering excellent results, the 2S Engineering team, led by engineer Steve Owonaye, has trained and put in place experienced engineers for the implementation of their high-tech projects.
You make sure you arrange for proper engineers. There are proper engineers in place. Like we have a set of engineers that are supposed to be